Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Next Goal Wins. England have just beaten San Marino easily, as we all expected, and qualified for the European Championships next year in France. Let's talk about it now. So yeah, like I said, England just won against San Marino 6-0 away, and it was easy. I mean, the first half was only 2-0 at half time, and the first two goals were a bit embarrassing really. The first one, ball came in from a corner, and the ball hit John Stones on the hand, left hand, and you're thinking, I'm not really sure what's happened here. Referee's blown his whistle. I said to my dad as a joke, oh, maybe he's given a penalty. Pops back, Hoddle in the studio, or in the commentary box I should say, I think he's given a penalty there. Penalty got given, no one really knows what for. He said the number 3 got booked. He was at the far stick, not really doing anything. Jagielka got brought down, which was a penalty. Stones was getting his shirt tugged, but God really knows what he was giving it for. But Rooney steps up, to equal Charlton's record, and he does it, slots it in, bottom corner. I say bottom corner, it was kind of not a great penalty. It looks a good penalty from one angle, not so good from the other one, just to the keeper's left-hand side. Slots it away, 1-0, game over. We've won the game, we've qualified for the Euro. So you just have to move on from there. It's difficult against San Marino because they don't let you break them down in a way. They just put 11 men behind the ball, and it's like a training set piece, attack versus defence. You get the ball and all you have to do is break down 11 men. Well, 10 and including the goalkeeper. The second one comes then, Shaw gets it on the left-hand side, whips in quite a good ball. It goes over Vardy's head, defender then kicks it in just before it gets to Rooney. Goes in, own goal, 2-0 up, and we've scored an own goal and a penalty, which was a bit dubious. So, not the best of first halves, really, for clinicalness. And we didn't really play very well in the first half. Shelvey looked quite good keeping the ball. I thought Vardy had a good first half as a Leicester fan point of view. I thought he had a good first half. I'll go on to his second half, where I thought he was really poor in a minute. But first half, I thought he played well, didn't really do anything wrong. Rooney gave the ball away a few times, didn't have his best performance. Milner, someone who I don't know how he gets near the England squad week in, week out for England. He just doesn't offer anything, really, to the squad. I don't see what he does. Oxlade got in behind the back of the defence a few times, but went in 2-0 at half-time. It's difficult to talk about the games and summarise them because it's such a nothingness event. San Marino offer no threat at all. I know they had a few chances. I mean, they had one shot on target, but they offer nothing really going forward. Anyway, away from that then, second half, we come back out second half, no changes, same team. Right away, straight away, ball goes down to the right hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain cuts down his man, and for the first time of the game, puts in a good delivery. Misses Rooney at the front post. Barkley's there, nod zone. Barkley had a poor game apart from that though. Gave the ball away too many times for me against teams like San Marino, and gave away clumsy fouls when he didn't need to. But he scored that goal, header, nice for him to get a goal. First international competitive goal for Barkley, and it was a good header down the middle of the goal. Goalkeeper couldn't get anywhere near it. I mean, the goalkeeper wasn't the best quality really, but 3-0 up at this point, and then a few changes started to be made. Rooney was taken off before he could get his record goal. Quite a good decision from Hodgson. He wasn't having his best game, and away from that, it'll be nice for him to either get it at Wembley, possibly, or get it against a team that matters in a way. It kind of makes Charlton's legacy seem a bit stronger to get it not away against San Marino, doesn't it? But then we move forward again, and fourth goal comes on Theo Walcott off the bench for Oxlade-Chamberlain. A few minutes later, ball comes out to him on the right-hand side. It's kind of played across to the left-hand side. It's flicked on by Shaw. Then Vardy gets a flick on back into Delph. Delph then blasts it across the 6-yard box, and Theo's there, back post, just tap it in. Delph had a really good game when he came on as a sub, came on in the second half, and I thought he played really, really well. Delph's the player I've rated for England more than he really is at club level, one of his rare few, and I thought he was good again tonight. Could look more composed on the ball than a lot of them. I mean, composure on the ball was really difficult tonight because the pitch was in such bad nick and such bad quality. It was torn up, the ball would come and just bobble up in the air. I mean, Vardy had one in the first half, the ball bobbled up just before he was about to lay it across to Rooney. That's one moment I thought he should have shot there, just taken the shot. Should have been braver on his debut. He seemed to hide a lot in the game, especially second half. He hid. And instead of asking for a ball like he does at Leicester, he kind of didn't want to seem like he was doing anything wrong and kind of went into the shadows. The ball would be with Shaw and he'd drift back into the striker position instead of getting out wide and running at defenders. I mean, he didn't run at defenders like he usually does tonight. And then second half, so Theo gets that one. We're 4-0 up. A lovely ball comes through from Shelvey. Kane, lovely take on his left foot and dinks it over the goalkeeper. A really, really good finish that was. Two defenders couldn't do anything about it. A lovely chip by Kane. Great ball from Shelvey as well. and it was a clinical finish. And Kane, that'll help him this season in the Premier League, I'm sure, to get a goal under his belt now. Yes, it's against San Marino, whatever, but he got a goal, and now he's off to a good start this season, actually scoring a goal, and he can take that back to Tottenham form. And then finally, 6th goal, the ball's played again, in forward, Theo Walcott gets a goal, 6-0, game over. And from that stage, really, it was kind of a non-event last 10 minutes. Nothing really happened, and the ball kind of was played around in the middle, but it wasn't really of any interest. And it was a game, like I said, it's hard to talk about games like this in, is it positive, is it negative? I thought there were a few players who had good games, so you can see my ratings down the bottom here for these players, and I thought a few of them had good games. Like I said, I thought Delph was good off the bench. I thought Shelvey looked good in the middle. Shelvey's a player I've really rated for Swansea, and I think he did well tonight. He looked like he controlled the middle of the park quite well. Klein had a poor game, I thought, didn't really offer anything. Shaw had a lot of the ball, but didn't do anything with it, hence his rating. He didn't kind of do anything to give himself a high rating. I mean, the cross, yes, was very good for the own goal, but away from that, he didn't do much despite having a lot of the ball. Centre-halves had nothing to do. Hart made a funny kind of fumble, and they nearly scored. They had a shot on target right at the end, but San Marino, it's one of those games you kind of willing San Marino to score in a way. It's such of a non-event. You want something to happen that'll kind of wake you up and shock you. But 6-0, we move on to the European Championships. First team qualified apart from France, who are the hosts, obviously. So we're on the plane, we're ready to go over to France. But you can't get any indication of what's going to happen from this group despite this game. I mean, we've had Switzerland as our hardest ever opponent, and we're going to have much harder opponents than that when it comes to the real thing in France next summer. But it's good to be there. It's none of this McLaren not even making it to the tournament. We're there early. We can experiment with teams a bit more in the next 3 games. We can play whoever we want. Obviously, we want to win every game. That'll be a major thing for Hodgson, I'm sure, in that dressing room to say, can we win 10 out of 10? Can we make it a full repertoire of points? But I don't think it's going to matter too much now. Obviously, we're qualified. And once we get the top spot, which we can do by winning another game, then I think everything will be rosy in the world of English football. Hopefully Rooney can get his goal when it matters, like I said, at home in front of a big Wembley crowd against Switzerland, winning goal, hopefully, because his goal tonight isn't, well, I'm sure won't be fondly remembered as one of his greatest, despite being the one that got him equal with Charlton. Not a great performance from a lot of players, but you know, you're always going to beat San Marino, and 6-0 is better than we did against them at home, so it's a kind of improvement, I guess from that. San Marino looked a lot better than a few times I've seen them. They're still absolutely terrible, but slightly better than when I've seen them a few times before. But they just, it's really a non-event, these games. Like I said, San Marino should have to qualify for the qualifying stages. Them, Liechtenstein, Faroe Islands, Estonia, Lithuania maybe, teams like that, they just should qualify. Malta, Gibraltar, all these teams should have to qualify to get into the qualification stages, because then at least they could have competitive games and it wouldn't kind of hinder as many teams having non-competitive games and just being easy 3 points for goal difference, etc, etc. They would get competitive games and maybe would have a more favourable record in their history and would score more goals. I'm sure their fans of teams like Malta would rather see them beat San Marino and lose every game in the qualifying stages, just being bunged at the end of the pots and being picked out to play Italy, etc, etc. I know they did alright against Italy the other night, only losing 1-0, but they will have want to get competitive games, and that is a really good system of doing it. Just have a few of them qualify to get into the group stage. They get in, 2 of them maybe in like a little table in their qualifying stages, play each other once, and then you move on from there, because at the moment it doesn't value anything playing these teams. It's not like it's testing for players, it's just like a training exercise. But we won, we're qualified for France, as I said. Move on, let's roll on France. Can we wait? No, we can't. I'm not sure we're going to do much of a tournament, but hopefully nearer the time we'll have a settled squad, we'll have good performances under our belts against teams who are higher ranked than San Marino, and we can all look at the competition fondly and then end up losing in the quarterfinals. Anyway, please like the video, leave your comments below and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.